Welcome back. In this session, we shall look at the various rainfall prediction conditions given in a collection of palm manuscripts called Kalavidhana Paddhati. These manuscripts have been edited by Pandit Krishnamurti Shastri and it is available in Saraswati Mahal Library at Tanjavur. This book contains a lot of information on weather prediction. The book says first, if the Ashada Shukla Pakshami falls on weekdays from Sunday onwards, that means if the Shukla Pakshami falls on a Sunday or a Monday or a Tuesday, etc., respectively, the results will be on Sunday it will be deficit rain, on Monday there will be heavy rain, on Tuesday, if it falls on a Tuesday, then it is war. If it falls on a Wednesday, it is winds, and so on. Saturday will cause heat wave and drought. And Venus day, that means Friday, will give enormous amount of rains. If Ashada Krishna Paksha Dwadashi falls on a Tuesday, then lightning and thunder accompanied by heavy rain will result. If Ashada Shukla Navami is on a Swati, the author says better leave the country. That means there will be drought and there will be famine, etc. If you see in Brihat Samhita or Narad Samhita, the Shukla Saptami on a Swati day is a harbinger of good rains. But here it says if the Shukla Navami happens to be on a Swati, that means if there is a offset over the years, that Shukla Saptami doesn't fall on a Swati, it falls on Shukla Navami falls on a Swati instead, then there will be drought. Moon, Mars, Venus, Mercury together in one sign. The Sun is on their 12th and Saturn is on the 7th. The similar combination is given in Brahsamhita also. There will be heavy rains. Venus, Mercury, Sun and Moon are in Dhanu Rashi and Mars is in their 12th. Here it means that Sun and Moon are together in Dhanu Rashi, that means an Amavasya. And it is in Margashira or Pausha month, that means in December, January, where Sun is in Dhanus. And Venus, Mercury are also very close to the Sun. Mars is in its own house on the 12th house in Vrishchika Rashi. Then very heavy storms will result, or hurricanes or cyclones will result. Now another combination here is given for heavy rains which causes floods and damage to crops and people and cattle also. Venus, Jupiter and Mercury, Guru, Shukra and Buddha are together in Swati Nakshatra. That is 6 degrees to 20 degrees of Libra. And Kartika Amavasya falls on a Sunday, Saturday or Tuesday, very close to Sunday, Saturday or Tuesday. That causes very heavy rains which can cause floods and damage to cattle and crops. The Sun in Pisces or Virgo and a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse happens. This means that Sun and Moon are in Pisces together or Virgo together, or they are in opposition in Pisces or Virgo. And Rahu, Ketu are also in Pisces and Virgo, or Meena and Kanya Rashi. In such a case, there will be very heavy rainfall. Now, A rainfall prediction or a unusual rainfall prediction based on retrograde and Atichara planet is given. As a reminder, we are given here that Jupiter, Mars and Saturn will retrograde when they are 5 signs away from Sun. And then by the time they are 9 signs away, they will become again direct. Jupiter will give result of the previous Rashi also when it is in retrograde motion. Saturn and Mars will give on the sign which they are in, whether they are in retrogression or in direct motion. So the Jupiter, when it in Atichara and retrograde, can create a condition where it connects with the previous Rashi, the present Rashi, and also in Adichara it moves to the next Rashi. So within that year, it connects 3 Rashis. So there will be some natural calamity like floods, etc. Mars moving through Swati Vishaga is bad for rains. Similarly, Magha Uttarastha, it is bad for rains. And Mula and Revati also, it is bad for rains. So transiting Mars while it crosses through these nakshatras will cause no rain. Here some drought and famine conditions are being talked about. Mars conjuncting with Saturn or opposing Saturn, or when they are in tricks, that means they are 6, 8 and 12 rashis to each other, then drought can be predicted. East rising comets will give rise to drought. West rising comets will not cause such problem. Jupiter should not conjunct Mars and Saturn in the first 3 signs, and the 9, 10 and 11 signs. That means Sagittarius, Aquarius and Pisces. Dhanush, Magaram and Kumbh. Dhanush, Magaram and Meena Rashis. They should not connect, in which case there will be famine. In Ashadha Masa on Purnima day, if there are clouds in the forenoon, Ashwina rains will happen. In the mid 10 gadis, if there is cloud cover, then Kartika rains will happen. The last 10 gadis, Margashirsha rains will happen. Here again, drought and famine is being talked about. When Mercury rises in the month of Chaitra, Vaishakha and Jyeshtha, it will cause deficient rains during the year. That means there will be drought in the country. But however, if Mercury rises in Ashada, Shravana, Bhadra or Ashwina, Kartika and Margashirsha, it is very good for the country. There will be Subiksha, as they say, prosperity, good crops will happen, good amount of rain will happen. But Pausha, Magha and Falguna, if Mercury rises, is not good for cattle health. Cattle will perish. Now, very disastrous famine and drought can take place when Saturn is transiting in Mesha, Rishabha, Vrishchiga, Dhanus, or Simha and Meena. Under this transit, if Saturn gets conjunct with Mars or Jupiter at the end of the Rashi, That means Saturn is normally staying in around 2.5 years in one Rashi. So Saturn is in that Rashi, in one of these Rashis, one of the 6 Rashis which you mentioned here. Jupiter or Mars enters this Rashi in their transit. So far so good, there should not be any problem. And as Mars or Jupiter transits through the Rashi and reaches the end of the Rashi, at that time Saturn has not left that Rashi and is staying at the end of the Rashi, which means there will be a conjunction of these 2 planets, or sometimes even 3 planets, at the end of these mentioned 6 Rashis. Then there will be such a disastrous drought and famine that the poetical expression that the author makes is that the demons will dance in the cremation ground. There will be so many deaths. That's what it means. Now, looking at long-term and short-term rainfalls at certain planetary conditions or combinations, and observing the atmosphere or weather on that particular combination is being talked about here. On Kataka Simha and Kanya Sankrantis, the astrologer shall watch the rainfall. On the first day of Kataka, that means on the Kataka Sankranti, if there is a drizzle, then there will be good rains in the season. The Kataka Sankranti happens somewhere in July 15th or so. Similarly, the first day of Simha, if there are drizzle, then it will not cause any rain. If the first day of Kanya there is a drizzle, there will be heavy rains during the next coming season. Rain starting on sun's entry into Ardra. The sun's entry into Ardra is happening somewhere around June 21st or so. So when sun enters Ardra, if there are rains, then it will cause rains for the next 5 days. And it will also cause rains for the next 60 days. Until the sun crosses 5 stars. 5 stars is 60 degrees nearly. So in 1 degree per day, the sun will move. So approximately 60 days. Similar is the case with the sun entering Magha. Sun entering Magha Nakshatra is actually the first day of Simha. On that day, if there is thunder, then it will rain like for another 60 days. Good rains in the season will happen. If lightning flashes are seen when sun enters Swati, sun is entering Swati, Swati is around about 6 degrees in Tula Rashi, which means around 20th of October or so, sun will enter Swati. That also is a good indication of rain. When there are clouds in the south, winds blowing from the east, and lightning in the north, and rainbow in the west, it indicates good rain in the season. Venus and Mercury coming together causes rains. But if the sun comes in between, that means the sun is flanked by Venus and Mercury, there will be no rain. This is given in many other books also. Now, on sun's entry into Ardra, there are a few observations. If the sun entering Ardra takes place in the daytime, there will be damage to crops. On twilight, the crops will flourish, and in the night, there will be all-round prosperity. This I think we have already seen it in the previous Samhita also. There should not be heavy rain when sun enters Ardra. If there is light rain or no rain, then there will be good rains in the ensuing days. If there is heavy rains, then the seasonal rain will be affected. There will be less rain in the season. When the sun in Purvashada is covered by clouds, that means in the month of Margashirsha, sun is in Dhanu Rashi in Purvashada. It will indicate rains for 13 stars from Ardra Pravesha. That means from month of Ashada onwards or Jyeshtha late onwards. Parivesha around the sun is indication of imminent rain, which we have seen in the Narada Samhita also. Now we will see some results based on the appearance of Venus in the sky. Venus will either be seen in the east or in the west. That is just before sunrise or after sunrise. If Venus happens to be in the Rashis during the sun, that is ahead of the sun, it will be seen in the west. If it is in the succeeding signs of the sun, it will be seen in the west. Now, if Venus happens to be in Vishaga, Swati, Vishaga and Anuradha in the east, and in Magha Purva, Uttara, Hasta and Chitra in the west, it's not good for the rainy season. There will be deficit rains. But if Venus or Shukra is in Vishaga, Anuradha and Swati, visible in the west, and in Magha Purva, Uttara, Hasta and Chitra, visible in the east, then it will cause very good rains. In the last slide, we saw some observations on the Venus appearance in the sky and its relation to rainfall. In the various works by several acharyas and in the Brihat Samhita of Acharya Varahamihira, we can see that the rising and setting of Shukra has been given a very high importance in the prediction of rainfall. For this purpose, the acharyas classified them into 9 streets, that means groups of 3 stars. And these 9 streets are called Naga, Gaja, Airavata, Vrisha, Gau, Jaradgava, Mriga, Aja, and Dahana. These are all various animals or objects which more or less give the description of the result of Venus being there. Very good, good, above average, average, below average, bad, difficult, and very difficult. This is the 9 respective classification of the streets. So in the Venus rising and setting in the Nagaviti is actually good. In the Gajaviti or elephant Viti is also good. But in the Dahana Viti, very bad results will happen. In the 9 streets, what we talked about in the last slide, we can see that The first three are giving good results or above average results. The next three are giving average or medium results. The last three are giving difficult or bad results to the people with regard to rainfall. Therefore, Acharya Varamihira prefers to club these 9 streets into 3 each to make them 3 streets. So he says them calls them as north, middle and south streets. The 3 streets in the north are called one as North Street. It will bring good rains and prosperity. Venus in the middle street, rising and setting of Venus in the middle street, will cause medium results. And in the south street, it will cause difficulties to people with less rain. We will continue our discussions in lesson 4 in the next presentation. Thank you.